You know, I want to link you down this thread below. And this thread below is why conservatives, this thread below is why we can't move forward. Okay? And this is conservatives of all races. You have your head so far up on your ass when it comes to systemic racism. You keep denying it over and over and over and over and over and over again, despite all the facts thrown in your fucking face. Okay? Like, it's unbelievable. This guy on this thread, this black man, he thrown all kinds of evidence over and over and over again, and a lot of the white people or conservatives, I distinct the two because obviously there are non-white conservatives out there, so I want to distinct the two terms. But anyway, what is so annoying is that man pushed out facts over and over and over again. He kept denying and denying and denying. They didn't even actually acknowledge the truth, and they kept deflecting. They made up lies and deflected. You know what I'm saying? Really, honestly, you white conservatives do not, I repeat, you do not have empathy for the majority of black people in this country. Okay? You really fucking don't. You actually, sorry to black people. Actually, white conservatives, you don't give a fuck about black people, period. Except for maybe the billionaire black people. You know what I'm saying? White people have received firm action since this country started. You talked about how racism can get people killed due to, in the way of increasing your chances of a heart attack. He pointed out all kinds of facts. Okay, this is where white people whose ancestors came here post Civil War, they said this. They talk about how all their ancestors didn't have black people as slaves. Okay, so this is what this guy said. As black people went north, they found that the only difference between a southern white and a northern one was geography. When black people went north, so did Haines. They are recorded as race riots, but the reality is that there were a series of massacres, bombings, hangings, and other acts of terror against black people by white people due to the northern migration of black people trying to escape massacres, bombings, hangings, and other acts of terror against black people by Southern whites. Historians call what happened riots, and this is why it's so hilarious to listen to the disingenuous fake outrage of the white racist subculture about black people in riots today. He says stories, stories, stories. I'm not gonna read what he was saying. I just don't think this is what he said. He said this. I am too, the original poster and the first black guy on this sorry, on this post. Um, I don't. I just don't think people really understand just how bad things have been for black people when they start trying to blame black people for the slave trade or slave ownership. I am waiting for the day somebody white tries to say that black people created the black codes, sundown towns, and Jim Crow. This is the state of the madness here in America at this time. White people have complained about political correctness, and yet when political incorrectness is applied to them, suddenly things must be forgotten, revised, altered, or kept quiet. On December 23rd, 1945, Mr. and Mrs. O'Day Short and their two small children were burned to death in Fontana, California. The description of this was a fire of the incendiary. They were burned. Basically, what he said, what what he posted was they were burned because they were trying to move into a white community. 37 before they were murdered. The family was threatened to. The family was threatened and got no protection from the police. According to the report, the Shorts had no electricity and they were using gas lamps at the time they moved in. This was supposed to be temporary. While the Shorts were out of the house, people broke in, sprayed the house with a flammable chemical, and when the Shorts got home and started lighting their lamps, their house went up in flames. Sad. I believe the man Harvey at your world when he said that no, when he said that he didn't say every white person. He said that I'm not sure who he was or how many white people he was implying, but he was implying. I think he was implying that man Harvey at your world. I think he was implying that in the one video they can't dismiss what happened. What he was saying, I think what he was saying in one part of the video was that there are a lot of white people, that there are the vast majority that I don't know what he was implying. I don't want to mistake what he was implying, but he basically saying there. I think what he was basically saying was, I could be wrong, that in general there's a general attitude of arrogance and evil among white people in this country and throughout the globe probably. But I'm not sure exactly what he said, but I mean, like, I mean, I think the same white people did this evil passed on their hatred and racism down to their descendants. You know what I'm saying? And that's just why we cannot move forward. Because a fucking white racists keep passing it down. Generation after generation. Pisses me off. It doesn't look like the white racists are dying out anytime soon. I see little white kids all the fucking time. It pisses me off to see them, actually. Because I know that means that the chances of racial equality and equity, the fight against racial injustice, will be that much harder because these young white children are very, 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 very likely to become racist and active racists, meaning actively fighting against the people who are fighting against racial injustice. You know what I'm saying? On August 6, 1948, 6 young black men. Sorry to the man Harvey of your world. If I misrepresented your talking, but you said that one video. On August 6, 1948, 6 young black men were convicted of murder and were given a death sentence in Trenton, New Jersey. The witness accounts stated that the killers were 2 or 3 white or light-skinned black teenagers, but the police rounded up 6 black men in their 20s and 30s, and only one was light-skinned. What the fuck? You know, this is why we can't move forward. Because the denial of systemic racism is unreal.